Does a sports injury have you sidelined? Are you ready to get back in the game quickly and safely? With the most up-to-date technology to relieve pain and speed recovery, Dr. Michael Scarpone and his skilled team understand your needs. Beginning this August through October, Dr. Scarpone will be available Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturday mornings from 8 to 8:30 a.m., treating all athletes between junior high through college level. For more information and to see what other players and coaches are saying, find us on Facebook or visit us online.
Hey, welcome to week 4 of the Star Sportscast. Along with Fred Younce, this is Mike Matheson, and we have a new sponsor. Welcome to the new sponsor, Trinity Health Systems. And if not for food, unfortunately, I think the next best sponsor would be a hospital for during high school football season.
Yeah.
Because way too many kids make the visit. I know I did 100 years ago, and I know even though you won a state championship ring, I'm not sure you ever played. So did you ever go to the hospital?
No, I don't think I. But in my adult years, I am either at a restaurant or a hospital. It seems in my life, so this fits.
There you go. It fits perfectly. So welcome to Trinity, and we'll go with week 4. And unfortunately, the mound round of rebound, Brent Sebesky is, where is he? Oh yeah, he's home doing.
He's in the worldwide leader.
The worldwide leader of sports. Fits him so well. It's just the best. Okay, week 4, Brooke at Big Red. Brooke has struggled the last 2 weeks. They've lost to St. C and University by the whopping score of 89-14. Big Red is 3-0, but offensively they haven't really found an identity yet. Their defense is really good. Obviously, Brooke struggled. What do you see there, Fredo?
I see a Brook team that's going to have fits trying to move the ball against Big Red. I don't see Big Red being able to really run up the score on them, but Big Red is the superior team. Again, like you said, the Big Red's struggling to find a little bit of identity on offense, but I think that's going to come as the weeks go by. But Brooke has really struggled offensively, and I think their only real weapon lately has been Alec Buckmelter.
Right.
And if you can focus on him, it's hard for him to do something spectacular. And when Big Red knows who to focus on, it usually ends badly for the other team.
Yeah, so which is big. I think Big Red goes to Massillon next week, so this is a huge one for Big Red. Big Red's 3rd in the region, Division III, Region 11, so that's a good start. We have 2 huge matchups this week regarding ranked teams within their division, and then we have 1 huge rivalry game, and then a really big game across the river in West Virginia. We'll go to the first big game, St. C at Indian Creek. St. C's number 1 in D4-15, Creek's number 7 in D3-11. They're playing really well. Both teams obviously playing really well, with St. C getting all the hype, and obviously they're playing really good football. Creek is 3-0. They're playing really good football. The hard part for Creek is, and I've seen the games, Creek has a hard time matchup with St. C. They just, something within the Buckeye, Big Creek, and not to say they won't Friday night, but historically it's not been good for the Creek at home against St. C, because St. C just has a ton of weapons.
Yeah, last week, Indian Creek faced their first real challenge of the season, answered it emphatically with a 41-9 win over Oak Glen.
Yep.
This week, the challenge gets that much better. St. C probably has the best collection of skill players in the area.
Right.
I mean, they're weapons everywhere. I mean, with Monteroso,
Jalen Brown,
Kinnick,
Marhefka,
yeah,
keep going.
the whole crew, they're all capable of making big plays. One thing is, traditionally what St. C has had trouble with is a team that can pound the ball and keep their skill players off the field offensively. Creek has played really well in the run game, and they're going to have to do it again this game in order to win this game. It cannot get into a shootout. They cannot keep up with them, but they do have the running game to keep them, St. C, off the field. It's just a matter of will they do it.
Yeah, St. C, their Achilles heel has been stopping the run. And I think one thing that Creek has that they've never really had before against the St. C team, they have the athletic quarterback in Alex Young.
Yeah.
So he can do things that previous Creek quarterbacks haven't been able to do, which is get to the edge and take a broken play and run 70 for a score. So it's just going to be a great game at Kettlewell. Just a really good game at Kettlewell. Another just great game down in Caddis is Martin's Ferry at Harrison Central. Ferry's number 4 in D4-15. Harrison's number 5 in D4-15. We got our boy Justin Kropka, a Ferry boy, is trying to beat Ferry for the first time in his career at Harrison Central. He's 0-7 or 0-whatever, hasn't beaten his former team yet, and it's going to be a shootout. I think Martise Hython is averaging almost 12 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Hello, kind of good. Rumor has it.
And the thing is, we all knew how good Martise Hython could be coming into this season. The thing that's impressed me about Kropka and company is Rasheem Mitchell. They have a passing attack now.
Yeah.
In the last couple years, it's basically been Martise 30 times a game. Now they can beat you with the passing attack. Rasheem can tuck it and run himself. I mean, they have a really well-rounded offense.
Eric Kropka, who'd have thought?
If there's going to be a year that he gets that win against Martins Ferry,
year.
It's going to be this year. But again, that's
But
not
look
a
at
guarantee.
Ferry.
Ferry's a heck of a
Well,
team.
Ferry went week 1 to Heath and buried him.
Yeah.
Then Ferry last week 3, went to Ridgewood and buried them.
And that team, they got revenge on him.
Exactly.
That was
And Ridgewood was 33-2 at home in the last 35, and Ferry just
took it to him. So I mean, that's going to be
just dump trucked him.
a
What a
very
good game.
interesting
What a really good game. And the big rivalry game this week is Steubenville Catholic Central at Toronto. Central's 1-2, and is literally one play away on offense and defense of being 3-0 in 2 games. And Toronto's 0-3. And I watched Toronto played a tough Shadyside team last week and lost a heartbreak the week before to Bridgeport. I saw Toronto last week for 3 possessions. And all 3 possessions were good offensive possessions that resulted in no points, but they were good offensive possessions. So they're doing some really good things, but they played Shadyside. Central, on the other hand, Colabella's throwing it all over the lot. Carpelati had 11 catches last week. Their defense is playing much better. They're running the ball with Dougie Maslowski, and you have Zach Harrington, and you have Lockhart, and you have Preek on the edge on defense, and Fletcher, and Stone Romano, and Gino Taglione, and Murph. So I think, and this is the big game for Toronto, because this is rival week over
This
Toronto.
makes their season.
This makes their season,
Yeah.
and they beat them last year. Toronto beat Central last year.
Yeah.
But the difference is everything for Toronto is off the edge. And I think they do a really good job with Blaze Glenn as a freshman quarterback,
Yeah.
Ches Glenn as at running back, and you've got a lot of other guys who are pretty talented with Nate Stewart and and Charles Ross III.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Eric Meek has been telling me for a couple weeks now, our offense is way ahead of where our defense is. Their offense can move the ball. Central's defense is playing a lot better. It's going to be hard for Toronto to get the edge against them, but they are capable with the speed they have. The problem is, if that defense hasn't come a long way, Central's offense is nasty.
Yep.
You mentioned all the names. Colabella is absolutely just tearing up secondaries right now. If they don't come, if Toronto's defense doesn't come about 15 steps forward, they're going to see a lot of points, and I don't know if they can keep up with that type of scoring, even with the growth we've seen in their offense.
Right.
So I mean, but never count Toronto out in this game, because they truly, this is a make or break game for them. Their whole season can turn on this game, and they know it. They want Central.
I agree. They want Central badly.
Remembers what happened last year, where they jumped out 14-0 and then got dominated the rest of the way and lost 21-14.
Yep.
So that's on their minds too. So it's going to be interesting. I just think Central has more horses.
All right, so we go another Buckeye game. We go Edison go to UL. Edison outscored Weirton 28-0 in the second half last week to get their first win. UL still struggling. Will continue to struggle the rest of the season. This is a get healthy game for the Wildcats and Mike McKenzie. And
I see them
it's what
being
you want.
500
Be 2-0,
at
be
the end of this
2-2
game.
after this week. Yeah.
It took them a little bit to get going against Weir, but they're playing a team that has 1 touchdown in 3 games.
Yeah. Enough said.
You're walking into a perfect situation to get a second win in a row and start your Buckeye 8 season off well.
And then you got 3 West Virginia games. You had Oakland, who's number 10 in the state in Class AA, going to JM. Oakland just got dump trucked last week by Creek. But it's big time comeback for them. JM is 0-3, but they're a much better JM team under former Cambridge coach Rick Goodrich. But I really like, because Oakland lost last week on the line of scrimmage, and you were there.
Oh, yeah.
And Oakland doesn't lose too many games on the line of scrimmage,
Doesn't
and that might have been the point of emphasis this week in Oakland.
Oh yeah, it'll be. Oakland took a real bad loss last week. There were seriously a couple of plays that could have happened during that game in the first half that could have changed momentum either way. John Marshall, though improved, is not Indian Creek. I don't think they're going to be able to bang with those big boys up front. And I know for a fact Whittington and his offensive line took that game personally last week, and they're going to be out to prove something this week. John Marshall is running into a juggernaut coming into this game.
Yep, I agree. And on the road, Weir is 0-3 going to Grafton. Weir made some major strides last week, and I think they have every week. And they're playing better offensively. They're playing better defensively. They may not have enough horses right now, but I can see the improvement from. I was there in week 1, and I was there in week 3, and I've seen the improvement. William Larch is just a man at quarterback, and Darren Baldwin leads the defense. The defense is playing better. Defense shut down Edison last week for 2 quarters, and Graziani and Nolan Marcus got going. Right. But I think if this was at home, we would have a little bit better chance because it's at home. But on the road, you go on the road down to Grafton. I just like slowly how Weir's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only way they win this game, and this isn't to say that they can't win it, but the only way is they need to find somebody to complement Larch.
Yep.
Larch cannot win games by himself, not against a team like Grafton. They're not an exceptional team, but they're good enough. You have to have more than one weapon to beat them at home. Right. So they need to find somebody to go with Larch. Larch is that good, though.
He is that good. And our first homecoming game of the year on September 14th, homecoming. Fort Fry goes to Madonna. It's Madonna's homecoming. Madonna's number 5 in the state in Class A, West Virginia. Fort Fry's 2-1. Madonna's coming off that bye week, which I still can't figure out, but that's a whole other issue. But it's going to help them because a couple kids were still dinged up. They lost 28-22 to Willing Central, the game that lasted about 15 hours. Yeah. You were there.
The longest game ever.
And so Madonna has Comus and Elliot Nero, and they have Travis Brown up front. And they've got Nick Osmond, who's really good.
Madonna's also going to have a lot of points to Fort Fry's very, very little.
Well, and this is a big game for Madonna. I mean, this is really big. They need to get off, get to 2-1 and just kind of keep going forward. And homecoming's homecoming. It's always a better night. The biggest problem with coaches during homecoming is make sure the football players stay focused during the week of activities.
Yeah, but I just don't think Fort Fry is going to have the horses. Madonna. Seriously, that game against Willing Central, even though they lost that game, their offense was scary good. Yeah. If everyone can stay healthy and Ross Comus can do what his double threat as a runner and a passer is just I don't think it's matched by anybody in our coverage area, to be honest with you, except maybe Rasheem Mitchell.
Right.
I mean, I just don't see.
Alex Young's kind of good too.
Alex Young hasn't shown that arm yet. Not that he can't, he just hasn't really shown it.
Well, he hasn't had to.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Exactly.
We haven't seen that dual threat from him yet. Ross Comus is just so good, and with Nero back, and it's just.
Yeah, and like I said,
Fort Fry's enough for our world to hurt this week.
With Osman, once again, Osman's a really big weapon. Okay, and with the only Saturday game, we go to Nelson Field at 12:30. We're Buckeye local 2-1, back-to-back wins against Westinghouse and JM. Goes to Bel Air, Pass Happy Bel Air. He's going to throw the ball, 97 times maybe, if possible. Bel Air's 6th in the region, D5 in D5-17. They're 6th in the region, 3-0. The one thing Bel Air has that no other team has that we cover in our area is when they throw the ball that often, your defensive line gets tired because they have to chase. Your secondary gets tired because they have to chase. Your linebacker gets tired because they have to chase. Even though Spencer Medee hasn't run a whole lot, he can run. He has good legs. But when you throw the ball 60 to 70 to 80 times a game, that just puts a whole lot of pressure on the defense that they will not see in the other 9 weeks.
Yeah, if there's any weakness anywhere in your coverage, secondary, linebackers, whatever, Bel Air destroys you with it. They find that hole, and Jose Davis is a very good coach.
Really good coach.
He seriously finds your weakness and he attacks it, and he'll take as much as he can get out of it. Buckeye local is going to have a real tough task ahead of them this week, but they're on a little roll.
Yeah, they're 2-0.
The last 2 games, they found a little rhythm. If they can continue that, Bel Air is a beatable team. Bel Air is not an unbeatable team.
They beat Liverpool 43-28, and Liverpool came back.
Liverpool was in that game. Central had them down, and Bel Air made a tremendous comeback. So I'm not knocking Bel Air. Bel Air's a heck of a team, but they're a beatable team, and Buckeye Local's
Buckeye's got Nathan Kirk and Austin Marshall and Andy Stock and Caleb Agnew. And
this could be a very good matchup,
absolutely.
But if you're not careful, Bel Air can blow the lid off it very quickly.
And plus, Bel Air can score from anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
They usually can score from anywhere, and that's never a good thing for defense.
Yeah,
never a good thing for defense. All right, we're done. Thanks to Trinity Health Systems for your sponsorship, and we'll see you next week. Later.